from minibulldesign. I'm back out in the machine shop today. Today I'm making the tops for the Bongo 3s. So, first thing I did is come out and start a fire. Got that going, warm it up in here. Now I'm over here with a piece of stock and getting ready to make a top for a Bongo 3. So let's look at the finer points of turning out a top. First, I want to talk about size, which doesn't seem that relevant, but when I finish here you'll understand. Okay, now the top for a Bongo 3 is made out of a piece of 2-inch stock. Cool. The throat in my lathe is only 1 3/4 inches. So that means I can't slide this in from the back and slide it out into the chuck jaws. So I have to cut a piece off that will fit in the chuck. Okay. That would be this piece. Now, the longer I make it, the more pieces I can get out of it. But the longer I make it, since it won't slide back inside of the throat of the lathe, the longer I make it, the more is going to stick out of the jaws and stick out of the front of the lathe. Well, if you read your machinist book, you can only, for any diameter, you can only stick it out so far for any given task, or it'll actually create too much stress and it'll start wobbling and you'll ruin the part. On the other hand, the longer you can make each piece, and when you get done, you still have to have something in the jaws to hang on to. So when you get all done, you're going to have a piece left over. So the longer you make this piece, the more pieces you can get out of it, and the less of these you'll have. So it's kind of a trade-off one way or the other. And I have to admit, I tend to make these a little longer than they should be, and then just take light cuts until I get a few pieces off of it. And by taking light cuts, I can cheat and get away with it. But it's probably not something they do in a real machine shop. So let's get started. Okay, I've got a 2-inch piece of stock in my jaws, and this has actually had 3 made out of it, so it started out here, which was dicey. I had to take very small cuts. I wouldn't cut in more than 1/4 inch at a time and take 3 cuts to get in where I wanted to get into. So let me put this camera on a tripod so my hands are free, and we'll get... Okay, the first thing we're going to do is face the front of this so we have a good square surface to measure off of. Now I have my X set at 0 so that when I go all the way in and when I hit 0, this inner shoulder is right in the right place, but I don't dare to take that all at once. So I'm going to go out here and take 1 cut out here, come up against the face of the work, 0 my Y, and then I'm going to go in and take a 250 thousandths cut. Power V. I'm going to take another cut, and a 3rd cut will be my finish cut. I'm going to take my X into 0. Bingo. This is my finished cut. Now I'm going to break this edge with a file. I'm going to mark it so I know where to cut it off on the bandsaw. Mark it at 400. Okay, we're ready for the bandsaw. Okay, I've got this in the chuck, and I've got a face here that was cut off on the bandsaw. It's rough. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in and face this off to give me a flat square surface to measure off of. Okay, now I'm going to flip around to my boring bar, and I'm going to bring it over here on the edge, and I'm going to go in as deep as I want it to go and zero my Y. Then I'm going to come over here and find the edge, zero my X, go in the thickness I want, and zero my X. So I've got two surfaces that I'm going to be cutting, and I'm going to bring each one of these tools to zero, and when I get to zero I'll know I've got the right dimension. And I'm going to do it in several cuts because it's a fairly large amount of material to remove. Okay, I've got a shoulder to break right here, and that part is done. Yeah, that's all ready to go. Now we can take it over to the mill and put a flat spot on it and install a nipple.